In this video, I'll be breaking down how to make samples in the style of Dead Man Walking by Brent Faiyaz. So how this sample came about, I think I was listening to some like Tupac FL Studio beat breakdown or beat remake, and there was a part where they were using a certain strings, and I think the chords and the string sounds matched perfectly with like the first chords of Dead Man Walking, and so I was like super inspired to make something similar with that VST. And it's a VST or like something I've never used or heard of before. So how I found it was, if you come up to here and then you just search up string section, it'll come up with a bunch of these. I can't remember which one it was. It's either one of these two. The VST should look like this, direct wave. And so here you can see it has a bunch of different strings all playing in different octaves to give you that lush string sound, I guess. And I just played these chords in and I'll just play them for you now. So this chord progression is super simple. It's just a 5-1, except I just brought this D up an octave, and these two chords are exactly the same. Just the top notes are brought down an octave. And for the effects, I just added a reverb and I panned that one to the left. Then I think I was messing around with my keyboard and with like the lower octaves, and I came up with this part. It's using the same VST, but this part is just down an octave. And what I did, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know about the humanize feature. So you just come up here, click humanize, and as it says, it just humanizes the MIDI. So that's what I did to make it sound more realistic, I guess. And for the effects, I just added a reverb and I panned it to the right to make space in the mix. Then I just found this percussion loop to add a bit of groove and bounce. Nothing too crazy. And then I was just going through like some textures or phrases or whatnot, and I found this kind of like rundown. This is just what that sounds like. I liked it because it like transitioned into the next part and sounded very beautiful in my opinion. And once again, I just added a reverb to put it in the back of the mix. Then I added this bass by Nami, and it's just following the root notes, and with like a couple shorter notes and whatnot, just add a bit of groove. And once again, I went up here to the humanize section just to humanize the MIDI as if it was a real bass being played. And then I was browsing through Splice and I found this guitar accent. And I didn't add any effects to that. And then finally, I just added this noise texture just to make it sound more vintage, but you guys don't need to hear that, you've probably heard it a million times. Then I routed everything onto one mixer track, and I added a effect rack with the basic vintage punch preset. I also added a cassette, the lo-fi drums preset, just to add a bit of texture and vintageness. And the reason I routed everything onto one mixer track and added cassette there rather than all individually, it's because if you have, say, RC20 on every single one, and then on the master you have like cassette or RC20 again, it's going to make it sound way too detuned, unless it's the style you're going for, but it's just going to make it super out of key, and then when someone puts 808s, it's going to sound like off. And another reason is if you put it on one mixer track, it just makes it sound more cohesive. And then lastly, I put a sound shifter just to pitch it down one. And so that's basically it for the sample. Let me know what videos you guys are trying to see. Follow me on Instagram and all that at Louis Oblin, and here's the final sample.